Hello, hello, hello. I'm here with my ocean rock. This is a white marble with black shades in between, or not black, but a very, very dark gray. It's very beautiful, very gorgeous. Almost reminded me like a little bit like an inverse skull, like sort of like a skull form, like where you pour rubber into it, and when you pull it out it will be convex and take on the shape of this here, which is skullish. I love it, just love. I love this shape. Love, love, love. Specific shapes of rocks that I find at the ocean that are absolutely mesmerizing, like this one here. It's amazing. This rock is amazing. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's my papa dog behind that tower. Yes. We are alone here today. And I breathe a sigh of relief because it is a calm after the storm. The rain has subsided, the winds have subsided, and the greenhouse has a sparkling round, like a shooting star shape of the sunbeam. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the sun just right there, sparkling through the clouds and through the needle tree branches, and it fans out into different color rays, and it's just so incredibly beautiful. And there are spider webs that are also sparkling slightly in the wind, sparkling, catching the sun rays and sparkling. Absolutely gorgeous. And there are mosquitoes or something, some kind of flying insects that are dancing next to the tree. Very nice. Very peaceful. I picked up some branches of needle trees that had fallen down during the storm, and I did some hedge trimming outside, and I picked up some branches of different needle trees, including Douglas fir, including spruce, and including grandiflora, grand fir. Grand fir, that is the Christmas tree. That is the classical Christmas tree that has needles that go off to the side like a comb, but that are not sharp. So there are many different types out there. We have many different types in the garden. And some have sharp claws. Some have needles that go around like a round brush. And my favorite one, the Christmas tree, has very dark green, leathery needles, but they're kind of flattened. They're almost kind of like leaves. Well, the needles are sort of leaves, but you know, they come in different shapes. So, but the grand fir has, it looks like a comb, has comb hair to both sides, so, and flattened, and it doesn't have claws at the end. It's smooth. It's very smooth and gentle, and it smells absolutely heavenly. Heavenly, heavenly, heavenly. I absolutely love it. I can put my chin in this here to comfort myself. I like it. It feels really, really good. It's very comforting. And there's an energy in this. This is very, very, very nice. Very nice energy. And I got my tea. I got the best tasting tea in the world, which is Celestial Seasoning. I'm not sponsored for this. I just love it very much. Celestial Seasoning Apple Spice with cinnamon, rooibos, carob, all the good stuff. The stuff that tastes really, really full and aromatic and soothing, and chamomile too, and apple, and what else? Chicory. Many different herbs and plants that are in this. And it has a very round, warm, soothing, Christmas-like taste. I drink it all year round, of course. I'm also always gonna buy it at all times. So not just around Christmas, but whenever they have it. So, and this here is coming along. It is a hybrid. It's standing on this ink cartridge because I use the ink cartridge to stand these figures on so that when there's paint on the bottom of the feet, that the paint doesn't stick too much to my styrofoam board, and when I pick it up, usually pull up all the paint from the styrofoam board. So this prevents that from happening. It only stands on the edge of this and doesn't pull up too much paint with it, so that I don't have to redo it on the bottom. I still have to redo a little bit on the bottom eventually, but right now I'm working on the top part of this. This is almost finished. It's coming along. A hybrid. A hybrid human and hybrid dog. So that is what this is. This thing looks a little bit like my grandmother. That is how my grandmother used to look like. Hello, my name is Guste. Auguste. Auguste, Auguste, Auguste. Auguste. Born in August, I think. Auguste. So, okay. Really awesome. That thing looks a little bit like everybody from that family branch. Hilarious. My family members, they don't talk to me. I'm too weird. Too weird and awkward and all of this and everything that people don't like. That's alright. I can't worry about this. No, I can't worry about it. So I want to talk about something that I thought about for a long time, and that I became very, 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 very clear about now. And that is because of my own journey going through life. That is the most important three things There are many other things, of course, like the trees, of course, very, very, very important. All of this, all of this is equally important. But what I'm talking about is right now the absolute most important things, and the tree is ties in with this, of course, and the sun and everything in the sky and the blue god and infinity and dogs and horses and rabbits and deer and all of us. So, the most important three things. It's very simple. Very, very simple, actually. What do you think is the most important thing? So why don't you write that down before I say it? Write it down in the comment section. I want to see what you think is the most important thing, and let's talk about it. No, not with, not being afraid again that you might say it wrong. Maybe I don't agree with it, but I'm not gonna like cross it out with a red marker or something and say this is wrong. No, I'm just gonna explain to you where that what you're writing down comes from, if it differs from that what I'm going to say. So write it down. What are the three most important things universally, particularly from our perspective of this perception sphere that we live in? But it also goes beyond that. It also goes beyond into infinity, of course. What is the most important thing? What are the three most important things? What is the number one most important thing? What is the second most important thing? And what is the third most important thing? For you personally, and maybe you can also explain why you are saying that. That would be really, 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 really awesome. Be really awesome, because I would love to talk to people about this. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that you could say something wrong and then people could think negatively about you. I will never think negatively about you. Never. Never, never, never. We're all struggling. We're all going through this together. Each person is going through this life experience. We try to do it as good as we can. We all have different backgrounds of education, of course. We have different soul levels of experience, lifetime experiences. Some people are new. Some people have more experience. Some people have been around for a very, very long time, including this crystal here. So I tell you what I think is the most important thing there is in infinity. That is psychological warmth, inclusiveness. I include you. You know, we may not look alike, we may be from different backgrounds, but I include you. That means warmth. So that's warmth. Psychological warmth. I suffered my whole life from psychological coldness. My whole life. Not necessarily because, I mean, my parents tried very hard, but, and my dad's more like Huell Hauser. I don't know if you know Huell Hauser, but my dad is a guy like Huell Hauser. And my mother is a person what's that singer, Swift? I forgot the first name. So we're like, I don't know. Oh, Silverman, the actress, Sarah Silverman. Yeah. I'm not that informed about Hollywood, and I'm just trying to find figures that are approximately explaining how my mother looks like and is the whole person and personality. So not as witty as Sarah Silverman. So, but witty in a mean way, and then she gets rewarded for it. But my dad's not good. So, yeah, but more on the order of, I don't know, Joan Collins? I don't know. But more austere than Joan Collins. Something like that. But yeah, so I grew up with this, each one had their own self-image. The austere lawyer, the outgoing architect, all inclusive, but it was also a little bit like a neurotic act out. So then it is not, I mean, yeah, that's also his character. It's genetic too. It's also wanting love from everyone, of course. But if this all-inclusiveness comes from from a mind state of, I really include you, and I don't care if I'm getting love back or not, or this or that, or if I afterwards go to get myself a Sir coat or whatever and shoes. No, I can I can go to Walmart too. So it's like, get away from completely away from the self-image making and the prestige and this coveting and wanting to be adored, loved, respected, etc., etc. Completely get away from it. Go into the forest, never come back out. Become a hermit and love all and really feel it. A lot of people have tried that, a lot of monks have tried that, but the problem was, after 20 or 30 years in the cave, they came back out and wanted to be adored for it. Okay, so what actually has come out of these 30 years? Nothing. They haven't moved an inch forward. It's incredible, is that there were people there was one guy 55 years going from one teacher and guru to another to find what he calls God. to go from one arrogant, full of himself guru to the next for 55 years. There's a lot of those. You can go endlessly. If you have more stamina than that. So what will come out of that? Is that inclusiveness? Is that warmth? No. Because there's still self-image. And also this whole thing of I want to find God, in quotation marks. What does that mean? What does that mean for him? You know, what does he mean by that? Also this desperate need to be close with what they call God. It's right next to you, and you go into cathedrals instead. It's in your cells, it's everywhere. It's in this rock in the trees. It's in this wonderful thermal cup, in the tea, in the herbs, and flowers. It's everywhere. The infinite cosmos is everywhere, has its light filaments everywhere in it, into every molecule. That doesn't mean we are gods. Okay? Let's not make that mistake. A lot of people come to this roundabout conclusion. It's a mistake. No, we're not gods. We are what Friedrich Nietzsche calls the last human. The pitiful complacency. A pitiful being. That's what we are, all of us. Some people struggle more than others, of course. But it has to do with the soul advancement. So, and that's not a hierarchy. Okay? The moment we create a hierarchy, we're already completely missing the point of everything. If there is someone who has more knowledge in something, he can teach us something. That doesn't mean I have to now feel like feel really low self-esteem just because that other person knows more in that field than I do. That's ridiculous. Why not just say, hey, she or he, they know a lot, and let me learn from them. You know, Donald Trump, a lot of people are jealous of him. Oh my goodness, the jealousy and the unempowerment, and they feel like they're walked on like a rug. Why don't we learn from Donald Trump? Yes, he has a lot of knowledge, and he's an angel soul. So it is a very advanced soul level. Yeah, should we get depressed over this now because we are not on that level? No. We can learn from him though. If we were more open to learn from those that are more advanced and really listen attentively, then we wouldn't have to feel so unempowered and have to reinvent the wheel in our lives and make our lives miserable and start sabotaging everything in order to learn everything from scratch again. What's the point? I don't see it. You can just say, can we just have the selflessness in a moment of meditation and say, yes, she or he, whoever these people are, they're more advanced and I can learn something, and that's amazing. Or she's more beautiful than I am. He is more intelligent than I am. They're better with this than I am. And that's good and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Let's learn from these people. Instead of feeling depressed over it and thinking that better just eat a whole cake and just give up even trying or even going. We need to walk through life, and we need to walk forward wherever we are on our learning journey. We have to keep moving forward. Not in an ambitious way, not in a way of, oh, I'm going to show them, or, oh, I'm going to compete, or, oh, I'm going to beat him, or I've seen homeless people, but I've talked to a lot of homeless people, particularly when I was petitioning for the whales in LA. It was usually homeless people that would kind of glue themselves to me on the street and start talking, because they have no one else to talk to. They see I'm inclusive, they see I'm warm, so they start talking because they're desperate to talk to someone. And I talk to them, I do. And I see they feel so unempowered that their egos are trying so hard. They are trying so hard to counterbalance with extreme grandiose paranoia. That's a counterbalance attempt. That's what grandiose paranoia is, or paranoia grandiosus. That is because they feel so small and insignificant and unseen and trampled on and discarded and thrown away. And that is what's happening. And it is extremely sad and awful. I try to make them feel better. I talk to them for as long as they want to talk. Until if they get nasty, then I walk away, of course. Some of them get nasty after a while. Because they are such a mess, these people, psychologically, that they will misinterpret all kinds of things that someone will say to them. So that's why I also don't blame other people for walking away, or when they see a bomb, they walk away. They act like they didn't even see the bomb, or they wind the windows. I don't blame you. These people will come and they will bomb relentlessly. And they will take relentlessly if you give. So, once in a while I give a granola bar and water in the summertime. I give their dogs jackets. I don't give money because I already know where that money is going to go. So the money goes towards self-destruction, and I don't support that. Sorry, not going to support it. I give that what they really need. And one homeless guy, he got mad at me for offering a granola bar because he wanted cash. See, some of them get nasty too, but so that's why I don't blame anyone if they don't want anything to do with these people, because a lot of them have no gratitude at all. That's also why they are homeless in the first place. So when the mind has no more gratitude, that's when the person dwindles. So gratitude is an enormously important factor. Tony Robbins talks about this as well. Gratitude is massive factor for success. Gratitude is also ties into the love spectrum. Love, compassion, appreciation. That's gratitude. Ties right into this. Gratitude for the things we have. If you're not a multi-millionaire, then be grateful for going to the beach and finding amazing rocks like this one here. But you want a diamond instead, where people in Africa gave their lives for and stuff in the mines. I don't want a diamond. I don't want a jewel that other beings have given their lives for. Sorry, no, I don't. I want nothing to do with that. I don't see the point. Also, what's the point? They can make diamonds with in pressure cooker type of things. So it's better to make diamonds like this for industrial use, but not buy something that comes from sweat, blood, and tears, and from people torturing themselves in the mines. No, I don't support that. A lot of rocks, they would rather stay in the earth where they belong. They belong in the earth. They don't want to come to the surface. There's an amazing film called Crystal Visions. I highly recommend to people to watch that film. Crystal Visions by Sylvia Dunchak. Dunchak, I think. And she's a German filmmaker. The film is made in German, interviewing German crystal experts and so on, but it is translated in the English version, so it is translated. It doesn't have subtitles, it's just translated. So the German has been set into the background and the translator voice is in the forefront. And it's wonderful to watch, and they did such a fantastic job of it, of translating this also. And I only watched the English version because the English version is on YouTube. The actual German version, I think, was for sale on CD or something, Netflix, whatever. So yeah, but most people speak English in the world, so I highly recommend to you to watch this film, Crystal Visions. It is on YouTube for free. It's about 2 hours long, or 1.5, I forgot how long it was. A wonderful documentary film on crystals, and they actually go into some of the mines in Europe. And to my absolute surprise, I saw what I saw in those mines really gripped me deeply. There were, in many different mines and different locations, there appeared eyes. Not the eyes that I paint, but eyes that look like the eyes of Nefertiti, or like eyes that you would see in a tomb in Egypt, like cave painting type. But those eye formations, they were not painted or made by a person. These eye formations in those mines, they formed themselves by the people cutting into the rock, just chipping away at the marble. And for example, like to demonstrate this somehow, I'll take this here. Let's say this here. It's not really an eye, but just to talk about this, they'll cut away and then randomly cut away, on the wall, and then suddenly there you would suddenly see an eye formation. But a real eye formation, this is not really an eye formation here. Suddenly you will see a real eye, like the way the Egypts painted them on the walls, like the Nefertiti eye with a lot of mascara, like where this part here fans out like this, and then with an eyebrow above. You see a real eye there. I wonder if other people have noticed this. And not only that, every one of these eyes in different locations, in different mines, in different rocks, every one of the eyes that were exposed basically through the chipping away, every one of these eyes had tears coming out. Tear formation, as in, like this here, as just as in so-called random pattern. There'd be tears like this here would be, or this would be, not really eye, but in these mines there were real eye formations with tears coming out at the end of the eye, like this. One tear or several tears. And the eye would have this very serious and very like grief-stricken expression. I wonder if other people have noticed this. So you have to keep in mind that crystals contain souls. And some of those souls, they want to stay in the crystal formation for a very, very long time. They don't want to be coming out. They don't ever want to come out. They want to stay there maybe for trillions of years. So maybe they'll still stay there long after humans have left or have died out or have become something else. So they don't want to have that exposed and shipped away at. And it shows their expression, and that's how they show it. It's very amazing. That is the other dimension. And that is how it shows itself to us. It shows itself through those patterns that will be only visible in this type of way to us. And a lot of people won't even notice it. They won't even pay attention to it. They'll just see it as a random pattern. They won't even notice that this is the eye of the Nefertiti or Tutankhamun. Very interesting. I thought that was. If you watched that film, let me know what you think and how you perceived it, and if you noticed the eyes in those caves, in those minor caves. See if you notice them. It's very interesting. I notice all of this all the time. Everywhere I go, I see patterns all the time. Sometimes very distinct patterns. Because I am very attuned to that other dimension in that way. I see patterns in all kinds of formations, in trees and shrubs, in wallpapers and rugs, in blankets, tables, any kind of rough surface structure. And I've been like this my whole life. When I was 2 years old, we had this rough fiber wallpaper. And I would sit on my bed and I would look at it, and I'll see faces of gnomes and little trolls and fairies. So, and they'll be looking at me. And I would think this is very strange that they show themselves through that type of rough fiber formation, so-called random patterns, but no pattern is really random. It only is perceived as that from our perspective. Nothing is random. Everything is cause and effect, and some of the causes fan way out, and some of the effects fan way, way, way out, and they elude us. in our very enclosed sphere within an endless coordinate system. So, what is the second most important thing for our existence now, from our perspective? That the second most important thing is directly from our perspective, from our existence. That's water. For us, water, we consist of mostly water. We couldn't function without water. That's why I have my tea here. Always replenishing your cells. Detoxing. Water is there to constantly detox the system. We breathe in toxins even before pollution. There's always some toxins. Sometimes things come up from inside the planet that are not supposed to come up. And then when people started to drill for oil, then that's when it got really, really serious. What they did with those petroleum products, goodness, they created pesticides. Then they really bombarded us with toxins. So that's why we need to eat clays, we need to drink a lot of water, we need to get that stuff back out of the system. We cannot have that lodged in our system. It causes all kinds of horrible things. I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to get into it. Get it out of your systems. You don't get it out with alcohol. Alcohol is a poison. Any amount of alcohol is a poison. That was recently, even though the alcohol industry has such massive leverage, some scientists globally from different countries have unanimously declared that any amount of alcohol, it could be a teaspoon, is toxic, is bad for us, is cell damaging. Oh my God, this is awful. What some people do to themselves with alcoholism, how they damage their whole bodies. Any amount of alcohol is toxic. I don't even allow alcohol on my skin. That's why I make a lot of cosmetic products myself. So, make a lot of that stuff. Last night, after I cleaned the whole house, I vacuumed the whole house with this nice new shop vacuum cleaner. It's very powerful. I sweated a lot. It's very important to sweat. Use a lot of muscle strength. I like to use my muscles for something purposeful, something, if I could go to, if I had my own gym and if that would create electricity, I would feel very motivated. But I don't feel motivated to go into a gym and just do some random exercises there and it doesn't go to any good use. So that's why in LA I had a year membership that was very expensive over there in Westchester, and I went there for a couple of months. I had some breakdowns with crying because the people that worked there were so cold. I'm very sensitive. I can't stand it when people are cold. Very, very sensitive. I don't have these neurotic counterbalance pattern behavior like other people. Other people, they will, when someone is cold, they will go under the knife and have plastic surgery, or they will do anything. They will adapt the way they talk so they will be liked and no longer bullied. They enslave themselves. And I just can't do that. The Medusa in me does not allow that. The Medusa says no, no, no. Then I'd rather become a hermit. No way. I'm not gonna cater to society. I'm not gonna cater to a friggin' neurotic society. I'm not gonna do it. Just not gonna happen. I love myself too much to do something like this to myself, to mutilate myself and bend over backwards with spending on clothing and on this and that and this and that and Botox and I don't know what people do. Lip fillers. Someone called me chicken lips. Okay, so what? Alright, got chicken lips, okay? So who cares? Who cares? If you care about shit like this, then we can't have a conversation. Man, there's more important things than chicken lips and crap like that. Yes, some women have gorgeously beautiful mouths, like Beyonce and Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, I acknowledge that and I move on with my life. That doesn't mean I have to now run to the next surgeon and have to have lip fillers put in.